Yeah, no, it's not a Makulu Nyati, just a Nyati. He was Lalapans here. I don't know if the Ngala have spotted him yet. He's just in front of my mova. I'm going to Hema here, and then hopefully they come up this way. So I'm so sorry, everybody. You can see we've got the buffalo. And we just repositioned ourselves. The lions, the whole Nkuhuma Pride, were on Buffalo's hook. And they obviously were chasing buffalo around. Now, I had a brief visual of the Nkuhumas just down here to my right, but I'm just keeping in sort of communication with Rex, and I think he's got a view of the lions. Now, here's a buffalo bull, all on his own. We've seen one this morning already, and it's not the same one, it's a different one. And it's not the one from yesterday, because the one from yesterday was missing the hair on his tail. Now, I don't know if this buffalo knows that the lions are here, but I'm just trying to see if we can get a view. We obviously don't want to disturb everything. Just looking over my shoulder. Let's move a little bit. Just a little bit, until we can get view of the lions. But how exciting is this? I haven't seen lions in such a long time. It's been ages. In a way, look at her stalking. Come on, girl. This is so exciting. She's only about 8 meters away from that buffalo. Look how close she is. Buffalo, she's definitely going to need some support. But they'll give it a bash anyway. And they could chase these boys and even split them up. And that would help. Like I said, it's thick in here. There's lots of trees. There's long grass. I can't see any more lions, but they could literally be anywhere. You saw how that girl snuck all the way around. Right in front of our eyes. This is amazing. Now what is she going to do? Is she going to sit there and wait for the buffalo to graze right towards her? Because she's got a couple of obstructions at the moment. You can see there's a few fallen trees there. And that could hinder her chances. If that buffalo, I reckon, if he carries on grazing in the direction that he's going to, he just needs to take about 5 or 6 more steps. And then he'll be in the firing line of that lioness. And perfect. She'll only need to do 1 or 2 strides before she get perfectly and will get to the perfect spot to catch that buffalo. This is amazing. Even if nothing materializes from this, I'm so excited. The adrenaline is rushing through my body. Sebastian is breathing so loudly. Are you excited, Sebastian? Hey? This is what we wait for. This is the quiet mornings that we endure to wait for an opportunity like what we're hopefully going to experience. I think the oxpeckers have seen what's going on. You can just, every now and then, you can hear them sort of alerting, but that buffalo is completely oblivious as to what's going on. He's going in exactly the right spot that she wants him to. There's another lioness coming out from the back as well, so a second one is joining. You can just see her. We'll just have a quick look at her, but I think we'll keep our focus on the one that's a mere, probably only 5 meters away now from the buffalo. And I reckon at any moment she could make her attack. And just to let you know, the second buffalo has actually sat down now too. So if they chase this boy that's standing up and they miss him, they're probably going to go for the one that's sitting down, because a buffalo, it's not the easiest animal to just stand up and start running. It's not an impala or a zebra that's quite light on its feet. She's coming in too. She's also stalking, but she's not going to be the one that makes the attack. The one that's closest to the buffalo is going to be the one that is going to start us off. As soon as she goes, the other lionesses from whichever grass that they're hiding under, then they'll start running. Wow. I can't even tell you how close that lioness is. I can't even see her in the long grass anymore. Come on, buffalo, 2 more steps. 2 more steps. And I hope that all the lionesses are here. I hope that they're all in the area, because the more of them that are here, the better chance they have of taking down the buffalo. But listen to the oxpeckers are shouting, lion, lion, lion. Hear that? That's an alarm call between life and death in this buffalo's case. This is amazing. I think maybe they're waiting for that buffalo to turn, maybe turn slightly to the right. The other girl has come nice and close though. See that? She's actually doing that. She's trying to come closer towards us almost. Oh, there we go, there we go. There we go. Well, they've made their move. The buffalo know that their lionesses are there. Now they're going to run. Look, 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 to the right, to the right. The buffalo is chasing the lion. You sneaky girl, you should have jumped. Go, 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 girls. They're not sure. They're going to see which one's the weaker one, I think, and decide. We're going to just hang back over here and watch for the moment. We don't want to have a charging buffalo stampede into the car. Off they go. Oh, here all the girls are going. They're chasing them now. Hold on, hold on. Right, this is where the fun part starts. Hold on, everybody. Sebastian. Okay, I think the buffalo have got away this time, because here we stand just with the dust that's been left behind by the buffalo and some very, very disappointed looking lions. This is absolutely amazing. Maybe they're going to follow and see if they can try and catch them again. If they push them into a drainage line, they may even try and chase the buffalo and sort of over uneven vegetation. Maybe it trips and falls where they'll have an opportunity. But that was quite interesting. She went, she ran, but she didn't jump. I thought she was going to jump straight onto the top of the buffalo's back. And it's like she got a little bit nervous. She sort of held back and she stopped and then went, oh no, you're a little bit too big. How exciting was that? 3 lionesses, a failed attempt, but unfortunately the big cats, it's difficult for them. It really, really is hard, especially when your prey is as fit and healthy as it's going to ever be. What an exciting experience. Girls, good attempt, better luck next time. And that's it, I suppose. That's what's going to happen. That was amazing. That was so cool. They're still looking down there, so they might try again. Maybe they'll try again a little bit later. I didn't even hear the rest of those buffalo, or those 2 buffalo, carrying on running. So I wonder if they just didn't run a small distance and then stop. Because like I said, it's thick. They don't know where those lions have come. They could make another attempt, maybe move around, try again. It's still lovely and cool. They won't be expending too much energy. They don't seem to be panting too much. Ah, was that exhausting? Good effort from 3 of the Nkuhuma lionesses. Now, I didn't see amber eyes here. Unless this one is amber eyes. No, it does not look like amber eyes. Oh, this was incredible. Megan, are you guys still there? Are you sitting on the edge of your seats? I haven't heard anything from Final Control. So I'm just checking to make sure that they're still around. That car that you can see over there, that's Rexon and his vehicle. So how's that? Those guests who have come from wherever they may have come from, all over the world, to see something like this. That is so, so, so lucky. Wow. I'm going to reverse quickly so we can get a better view of these girls. That was so exciting. Let me put my earpiece back in. Woo. Right, here we go. Girls, what are you going to get up to now? Now, Pugsmatic, you were wondering how many lions does it take to bring down a buffalo? It depends. It can take 1 lion. If it's a particularly weak buffalo, then 1 lion can quite easily take it down. But these 3 girls would have had to have worked together, because those were 2 very, very fit and healthy buffalo bulls. And I'm telling you right now, they will put up a fight. They will not stop. Oh, it's just me. I'm just ducking out of the camera's way. The lionesses are now going to walk in front of the car, which is really nice. Just again to show you how relaxed they are. And we've just seen these lions chasing a buffalo, but you can see that they're not interested in us at all. They're not bothered. Oh, here comes a little Nkuhuma cub. Hello. I have not seen you guys in such a long time. Look how big you are. Oh, this is so wonderful. This is what a welcome back. I thought we were going to have a quiet drive. Hello, little one. Off it goes. That's so cool. Now I'm waiting for... Oh, here they come right next to us. Here's another one. They're everywhere. They're all behind us. Hello. You're a little bit disappointed. Oh, they don't look very happy. They are so funny, this lot. They are so sweet too. But they're all going to come and sit here. I think they'll probably come and rest in the sun. There's 2 lionesses that are sitting in front of us, but the little ones have all emerged from the safety of the drainage line. So this is a very important time for these young cubs at the moment. They're going to be learning a lot. They would have just been sitting on the outskirts watching. And I think the Nkuhuma cubs have had the most amazing experiences, because we've even watched them partake in hunting when they were very young, when they were only about 6 months old or so. So they've already had their first opportunity of learning to take down a young buffalo calf. That was a great sighting. That was on Halloween, actually. Now they are almost triple that size. Right, let's do a bit more repositioning. What I'm going to do is, I think, let me go forward and then I'll poke my nose back here and we'll try and get a better angle. I think they're going to just play around here for now. Hello, little one. Where's my little floppy-eared girl who hasn't got a floppy ear anymore, I believe? Just sort of decide, because the way that we positioned ourselves now, we can have a look at the lionesses in front of us and this little youngster that's coming out, just off to the right. Hello, are you a little boy? Now, at this age, we should start to see a bit of fluff on the chest, where the mane would start to develop, and that one does look particularly fluffy, but we'll have a look now when it turns its rump to us, if we can see if it's a male or a female. It does look like a little boy, doesn't it? It's always difficult, though. Lift your tail, lift your tail. No, not yet. Maybe. We'll have to have a closer look. Okay, they're moving. That means we can move off as well. Let's try and turn Wendy the tank. This is amazing! The best morning ever. I have been waiting for this for a long time. I have searched and followed ghost lion footprints as they move out of our traverse into areas that we can't go to for I don't know how many mornings last cycle. I think almost every single morning. So that is just so rewarding. That is fantastic. Woo! The adrenaline is high this morning, but we've got quite a bit of bundu bashing to do now to catch up with these lions, but we're definitely not going to lead them. Tristan is still with the big elephant bull.
Well, we are with our elephant. It's slowly moving towards Treehouse Dam, so we're trying to just keep up with it. So we're doing bundu bashing of our own at this stage. Careful there, Craig. But I must apologize to our big friend here, because even though he's in muss and has this sort of gaping wound, he's probably one of the most gentle of the muss bulls that I've seen in a long time. He hasn't in one way given us any sort of negative response. He hasn't at all given us any trouble. He's been an absolute gentleman as he's walked around. And isn't that a cool picture of him reaching up and getting his marula tree? Well done. Now, the smell emanating from him is pungent, to say the least. He's got this sort of musk smell. So Maggie, the wound itself is being masked by the musk smell, so that dribbling that you're seeing around his sort of genital area, you can see it just between the back legs there. You see it dripping? Now that is full of testosterone, and it has this very pungent sort of smell to it. It's not, I don't know how to best describe it, but it is not very pleasant at all, and that is far outweighing any of that wound that we see there. That's not going to be sort of smelling too good itself. So you were wondering what musk smells like. Well, it's a difficult smell to sort of describe, but it's very chemically, the smell, and it's got this sort of pungent chemical note to it that gets up into your nose, and it kind of sits between your eyes and catches you there. It almost reminds me a little bit of how bleach smells when you smell it, in terms of how bleach kind of catches your nose and really kind of sort of singes your nostrils. It's the same kind of thing with must. It doesn't smell like bleach, but it is a similar kind of sort of pungent smell that that comes out. So I know that doesn't make too much sense, but it's difficult to kind of make sense of it all. But it has a very chemical smell to it. Well, that's how I feel. Craig, how would you describe it? Meh.
Oh, very chemically.
Yeah, chemical.
Stuff they put on top of rubbish dump.
So Craig says it's like stuff that you put on top of a rubbish site, so like that creosote kind of stuff, that just to neutralize the bacterias and things that are there. So I suppose you're right, actually, Craig. That's probably a very good way to describe it. Now you can see that this bull has latched onto a massive marula branch. He's pulled down a huge branch, and I wonder if he's not making the most of these leaves before they all drop off, because the marula trees in the next little bit are going to start losing their leaves probably within the next sort of, I would say, 2 or 3 weeks. We've already started to see some of them dropping leaves already, so he's probably making the most of those leaves now, although it seems like he's feeding a lot of the branches themselves and not actually the leaf structure. So you can see he's putting that sort of branch in, and then he'll roll it around and try and kind of strip it of all that cambium that is on it. It's quite cool to actually listen to him just crunching down. So Darcy Doll, you say he looks in pain. Well, I suppose it is painful. I mean, a hole in your stomach is never going to be the most comfortable of things, but he's really, like I say, I would have thought he would have been in a far worse mood than what he is in right now. He has let us follow him all the way through the thicket. He walked past us without even a head shake. He hasn't in any way been aggressive. So even if he is in a bit of pain, it seems like he's kind of almost not too stressed about it. Maybe it's gotten past the point where it's very painful. I don't know, but he certainly has got no ill temper towards us. He's been an absolute gentleman this morning. So if he is in pain, well, he's certainly not showing it, that's for sure. But he's still got his big swagger, and every now and then he throws a bit of dust on it, but other than that, he's really not been too fazed by it. I haven't seen him sort of stopping at any of the branches. He's walked through big treed areas without really worrying too much about it. So maybe it's more superficial and looks worse than we actually think. It's difficult to sort of judge the emotion on an elephant. So you're wondering how long that wound would take to heal. Well, there's going to be a number of factors involved. I wonder if he's not going to stop for a little drink. I don't think so. I think he's on a sort of serious mission to the south, but let's just stop here and admire him as he walks with his reflection in the water there. It all is very, very pretty. But a wound like that will take a while. It's not going to just heal overnight, but you can see already well, now it's a little bit difficult because he's a bit further away, but hopefully he's going to come a bit closer again, and I'll be able to show you that there is already some stitching of the muscles there, and skin is starting to grow over it, so it is starting to heal already. I would say probably within another month it will be probably healed. That's what I would say. Maybe a little bit longer, depending on whether or not he looks after it. But isn't that beautiful? Oh, he's just dropped his branch. Now it's time to drink, not eat. So his branch has now been dropped, and he's now going to have a little bit of a nice drink. Now unfortunately the hardy-dars at the feet were chased away. You can see they're there, so now they're just going back to where they came from, because that big bull elephant came along and chased those hardy-dars away from where they were feeding, and they're probably feeding along those sort of margins where there's grassy areas that are being exposed as the water is drying, and so there's a few insects that will be there. But you can hear him slurping up the water. There you go, and he'll slowly push it into his mouth. There you go. You can see the displeasure that has been expressed by the hardy-dar. Yes, 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 okay. I'm going to just go forward a bit. MPG, wondering if the wound was still, if it was worse than what it is and it was really affecting his condition, would he still go into must? Well, yes, it's a natural part of their sort of lives. They do go into it as a reproductive bull. This does happen, so he would still go into it, but it would be, he would be have far less energy and would definitely not be moving around the way he is at the moment. But you can actually see, like I say, how the wound is starting to come together already, and I would say in a few months' time we probably wouldn't even know that his stomach had a massive gaping hole like it does now. So it will just have to be sort of a little bit of time that he has to worry about it. Now he's going to pop out right next to us here. He's coming straight out of the bush, which is going to be very special as he kind of meanders past. And look, you can see there's been no ill sort of show from him. He hasn't shaken his head once. I think he knows he's a beautiful big bull and that he doesn't need to dominate us. He's definitely got an aura about him and we don't have to worry. But there you go. See, he's just covering it up with dust again, and that's, there we go. Well done, boy. We've got to look after that wound. That's very cool. Now, I'm not sure what could have caused that abscess. It might have just been some sort of nick to start with, and after wallowing in maybe some bad water, it's caused an infection to develop, and that's what's made that. But it should be okay. Like I say, it doesn't look too bad. I've seen elephants with far worse wounds than that, from tusks and varying other things, and they've managed to survive just fine. So I think he'll be 100% fine. I don't think he's going to have to worry too much. But as long as he keeps looking after it and keeps sort of dust bathing and sealing it and making sure that parasites like flies are not getting in there, he's going to be absolutely fine. Craig, I'm going to try just go forward. I hope he's not going to move because his dust bathing is very cool. And we're just going to try and see if I can't get alongside him. There we go. We're battling to see you with all the dust, big boy. He's throwing so much, he's kind of becoming... Oh, there we go. Okay. To thicker bush, I'm going to leave him alone. He's been an absolute gentleman to let us be with her for so long, particularly if because of that wound. Now, I would be a lot more grumpy than he is, and we've had much grumpier males around that have been in far better condition than what he is. So I think from here we'll just let him meander off into the thicket, and while we do that, let's go across to Taylor with cats that are all exhausted from their morning's expedition.
The cats are now fast asleep, and what I'm doing at the moment is I'm actually typing on my mobile device because I've just added a pin to their location because they're in the middle of two drainage systems, and it's going to be difficult to try and find them again a little bit later. There we go. So I've just saved that. That's very important that we're able to come back here this afternoon, and I don't think that they're going to move much now. Like I said earlier, they had travelled a fair distance. We had tracks everywhere on Vuyatela going towards Simbambili, then back towards Sydney's Dam, which is in the far northern corner, and then all the way east again around to the Buffelshoek signs on Buffelshoek cut line, and now back into Vuyatela. So that's crazy, just to give you an idea of how lions can actually move in the evening. And yes, it was nice and cool, lovely temperatures for them. But they did do a bit of chasing around, and we were very, very lucky to witness the Nkuhumas make it. Well, it was a failed attempt, unfortunately, but that's normally what we do see. So they're not the most successful hunters, but at least they gave it a bash and they put on a fantastic show for a very quiet morning. So thank you very much, Nkuhumas. But the whole pride is not here. I've only seen 3 adult lionesses, and I've seen, I think, 4 cubs. It's a bit difficult to try and count them now as they're all piled on top of each other. I thought I've only seen 4. There's 1, 2, 3 there. Oh no, maybe there are 6, because there's a couple of others about 10 or 15 meters away from the other group. But the spot that they've laid in is a nice spot. They've got a little bit of the sort of dappled light on them, which will be, I'm sure they'll all be enjoying, the warm sun. And there's also a couple of trees. There's a lot of buffalo thorn, there's even a leadwood here, and a lot of bush willows, which is making it very difficult for us to try and get a view, but that's okay. Luckily, we've got a big camera that we can zoom in through the gaps. We've just got to find them. But they're probably quite tired now. They're probably a little bit sad that they didn't get breakfast. Oh, they're so sweet. This is amazing. Just grooming, getting ready to settle down from the day. Now, Randy, you were wondering if the cubs were bigger than adult leopards just yet. No, not quite. Maybe the young, I think there were 2 young males, if I'm not mistaken, and 4 females. I think that was. But please help me out because I've completely forgotten. And I was quickly trying to read my book because it's been months and months and months since I've last seen the Nkuhumas, especially during the day. So my memory has relapsed and I have to dig in the filing cabinets as to who's who in the zoo. And so not quite, Randy, almost there. In another few months, maybe when they get to about 1.5 years, they'd be the size of, say, a leopard. Not quite a male leopard just yet. They're growing very, very quickly, though. I can't believe what beautiful little lions they've turned out to be. Now, I'm looking for my favorite little girl. I don't think I've seen her yet, but I don't think she'll have a floppy ear. I always thought that once she overcome her bouts of mange, that ear wouldn't be swollen, and it would sort of fix itself. I wonder if that's her over there. Now you can see there's 2 little cubs that are attempting to suckle. I highly doubt that they're getting anything. I think maybe it's just a comfort thing, because they normally get weaned at about 6 or 7 months, and they're all basically a year and a month, a year and 11 months. So they're there. So they should not be suckling anymore. And Amber Eyes is not here, and I think the youngest Nkuhuma lioness, her and Amber Eyes seem to have a close-knit relationship, and they're often off together. So maybe they're just separated, and I think that they're close by, because I did have that lioness track heading down into the drainage line, not too far from where we are now. Probably as the crow flies about 1 mile or so. Yeah, little ones. And now, Nancy, you were saying, you were wondering if I knew that there are suspicions that Amber Eyes has cubs. Yes, I've actually chatted to Tristan about it. So that's quite exciting, of course. But we'll have to just wait and see until we find her, I suppose, with little ones, to be able to confirm something like that. Remember, it's very delicate stages, this whole denning process with lions. And the chance of the lion surviving is actually quite slim. So we'll have to really just wait. She could have had cubs, and then she could also lose them within the first 2 weeks. That could happen too. But I hope that that's not the case, and I hope that there are lots of little ones. Remember, we've seen Amber Eyes and we've seen the youngest Nkuhuma lioness on numerous occasions mating with the Birmingham boys. So hopefully one of the times that they mated with them, they actually would have taken and now had little cubs. But we'll have to wait and see. There's something suspicious going on around Shortcut Caligo. You don't just see lioness tracks going in often unless there's a kill there. There's most certainly no kill there, because these guys would probably be there. So it is obviously nearing to the edge that there is a den site around there. But we'll keep an eye out, of course. Every morning we'll keep looking. Eventually, if she does have cubs, she will change her spot. She will move them away. But it's a nice place here. It's very thick. Big drainage systems. There's lots of little rocky areas that she can hide them. There's lots of termite mounds around here that would have old burrowings from aardvark, and maybe hyenas would have used them in the past. So there's definitely many, many spots, really good hiding places to stash little cubs. But it's exciting, and right near camp too. And I hope that the Nkuhumas are here to stay. They are my favorites. I love this pride of lions. They really are incredible, and especially having the opportunity to watch them grow. And I know that Brent, Jamie, and James are most certainly going to miss these guys, because they've spent many, many, many hours following the lives of this family of lions. And it's really, really quite fantastic that we're able to do something like this. And we were sad, I can tell you right now, we were all sad that we didn't see them throughout summer. What you doing? You deciding where you're going to go, if you're going to go back to sleep? I think she's... No, you're going to get up? Now, Minion, you were wondering, when will they hunt again? Well, as soon as another opportunity presents itself. So even now, if a buffalo were to come strolling past here, a warthog, a kudu, anything, they'd take that opportunity, even throughout the day. Say they were fast asleep, enjoying their slumber, and something came through and rustled a bit of grass. They'd jump up, and they'd most certainly make an attempt. They don't look thin, though. They look in really, really good condition at the moment, just as good condition as the buffalo are in. So that's good. So they're not desperate for a meal. But when you do have 6 very hungry mouths to feed, They can be a bit of a pest at the moment, and they want to eat all the time. It's important that they eat regularly so that they can grow into big, strong, healthy lions, which I'm sure that they will. I have no doubt. The Nkuhumas are great. They've got an unbelievable success streak when it comes to hunting buffalo. But again, the tables have turned. It's difficult now for these lions to catch the big, strong, healthy buffalo, and it really will take quite a bit of work. But maybe they follow up on them a little bit later. The sun is eventually going to peer over the tops of these trees, and as you can see now, they're really just chasing the shade. They're moving around looking for other spots to sit in, so they could move further down towards the drainage. And I've just heard a whole lot of oxpeckers flying overhead. I wonder where they're going. Very interesting. There's oxpeckers looking for their next target to land on. They've just flown over the top of us. Now, NPG, you're wondering if these lions are vaccinated against diseases. They're not. So these are free roaming lions. They've got the entire Greater Kruger National Park to move around on. So they haven't been vaccinated by or for anything. So we saw the white mussel disease that came about with the sort of poor quality of food that the herbivores were feeding on, which then meant that there was a serious lack in certain vitamins, and the lions weren't able to get those nutrients either. And the buffalo were dying, and then of course we lost 2 of the Nkuhuma cubs very sadly due to the same thing. The others are very strong. The Nkuhumas have had a tough time. The youngsters have overcome mange, which is incredible. Then they've overcome the white mussel disease, and unfortunately, with the communities being so close to the area, there's definitely opportunities for various diseases to come through, rabies and all sorts of things. So we hope that no more of these horrible things come through and knock our lions out. And that's why it's important to control the dog populations in the communities, because unfortunately they will dig underneath the fences and come in and try and go hunting for themselves, and that's how a lot of the diseases are spread about. It's the same thing with tuberculosis and foot and mouth disease. That's being spread between the cows and then of course into our animals here, to our buffalo, to honey badgers, to kudu, to a number of different animals. But also diseases are natural. They're supposed to be around. They're here to control populations. So it isn't uncommon for something like canine distemper or rabies to come through. And it's sad because we love our predators so much. You know what? I think this could be the youngest. I wonder if this is not the youngest lioness just here in front of me. It's hard to see. You can just sort of see her through the trees. But she's got a very, very pink nose. And the other girl had a very, very pink nose too. But I haven't seen them in so long that it's quite difficult. And she just also looks a lot cleaner than the others. So maybe that's her. Maybe Amber Eyes is on her own. Maybe another lioness is with her. Hello, girl. You are very, very pretty, aren't you? They're beautiful looking lions. And the youngest Nkuhuma lioness was actually my favorite. She was so playful. She was the best aunt with all the little cubs. She always used to take a couple of minutes of her day to play with them, which was quite nice. But they're all moving around into the shade now, making it very, very difficult for us to find a view, but we will try our best. Come on, girls. I think you should get up and go and give it another bash. I think you've got one more stalk left in you. This is so sweet. No, flat. It's so peaceful out here this morning. No more oxpeckers to start shouting. Now, as we sit here and we see these little ones all grooming themselves, just constantly reassuring each other, strengthening the bond. I think that's my favorite little girl. I think this is her here coming through. She looks like the smallest, and she was one of the last teddy bears. Not a teddy bear anymore. Off she goes. Yes, I think that's you. Beautiful. Now, YouTuber was wondering if they would eat bugs or leaves or sort of plants if they were really hungry. Not necessarily. Maybe a young curious lion would eat a grasshopper or something along those lines, but I don't think that it would do them or too much good. So no, probably not. Leaves, they might find them enticing just to bite on them, especially when they were going through that sort of teething process. They were chewing bits of wood all the time, so that's just sort of quite soothing to them. But otherwise, no, strictly carnivores. We do see lions, of course, eating grass every now and then to help induce vomiting. It's very important, especially when you've got a hairball. They will do that quite often. But other than that, that's the only time you'll normally see lions eating grass, unless they're a little bit unwell. You sometimes see that with your cats and dogs too. And I'm just going to perch myself up on that fallen tree. That's nice, isn't it? But this is where I think they're going to settle for the afternoon. And hopefully when we come back again later, they'll be around here. And we'll have another opportunity to watch these guys have an attempt at hunting an animal. Because I think that's what's going to be on the cards tonight. So I think they're going to get on the move, perhaps go towards Galago Pan, have a drink of water, and then start their search for something tasty all over again. But again, they could be unsuccessful this evening too. This could carry on for quite some time. And Violet has asked if the lions will hunt for one meal at a time. No, not necessarily. Can you believe it, Violet? There's been many cases where lions have actually gone chasing after one animal and then ended up taking down another. And we've seen that with the Nkuhumas on a number of different occasions. I've most certainly seen it, where they've taken down one buffalo and then taken down a calf as well. So if there's more opportunities to catch more than one animal, they are definitely going to take it. They don't quite stockpile food like how leopards can, how they'll catch something and then cache it up in a tree. There's a lot more risks being down on the ground, of course, with other predators coming in and stealing it. But I have seen the Eastern Cape, giraffe and zebra, and they had something else as well. I can't remember what other antelope they had, and they were feeding on those three animals. Animals just kept coming down the sort of corridor along the fence line, and that's where the lions were waiting. They learned. But look at this little one. They're right here in front of the car. You can see them right on the right. Not too bothered. Now that one's eating leaves. Why are you eating leaves? Yes, you see that doesn't taste very nice. Don't eat them. Maybe it just thought, I'm so hungry, I'm just going to try salad. But no, you cannot digest all the cellulose and proteins in leaves. That's what the buffalo are for. It's so sweet, isn't it? Look at that face. Big enough to join in just yet. So they're just sort of sitting on the outskirts and watching. But like I said, the Nkuhuma cubs, I mean, I've never seen it before until I watched it the afternoon, on the Halloween afternoon, where the little ones were actually jumping on and learning to take down a calf. And if you do have any pictures of that sighting, you can hashtag Safari Live and you can share it with everybody, just so that everyone can see what I mean. So about a year and a half or so, I would say, Tina, but I suppose it also just depends on the experience of the lions and how tolerant the adults are with them. And well, let's see if they're keen hunters. I'm sure there'll be one or two of the little female cubs that'll be excited and wanting to get in on the action as soon as possible. But it becomes a very frustrating time for the adults because they get too keen. They stand up too quickly. They charge when they should still be waiting, that type of thing, and then often end up ruining the hunts for the adults. So I reckon at this time, when they've got young cubs of this age, where they're quite curious, the chances are a lot harder at trying to take down something successfully. But this morning, the cubs were not involved at all. It was all on the lionesses. They were the ones that unfortunately were not successful today. The buffalo outplayed them. I think they got a bit of a fright. I think they went, oh, that's a bit large, that's quite big. But this is great, once again, to be surrounded by my favorite pride of lions. I didn't think waking up this morning that that's what I was going to see. And I'm sure Tristan and Brent are envious this morning that we got the lions. It's always nice to see a cat on safari. I did see a mating pair of lions while I was in the Kruger National Park up near the Palabora gate. But it was a very brief sighting. But I'm much happier with this. To be face to face with the coolest cats in the Sabi Sand. Hey guys, you sleepy now? Yes. I think they're going to do just what lions do best and relax. All the lionesses have got their eyes closed now. The little cubs seem to be settling down as well. Grooming themselves, biting a couple of pieces of grass, but it won't be too long before they mimic the adults and join in their fast sleep. Bless you. So I think we're actually going to let these guys rest and carry on with their day now. We've been with them for quite some time. And I hope that you all enjoyed that and are as excited as I am to see the lovely Nkuhumas again. Tristan is now about to leave Djuma, and he's decided to bumble all the way to the great wide... Nope. Not going anywhere. You are still staying with me, but we're going to leave these cats now. Thank you very much, lions. That was fantastic, but I think you all deserve a nice rest. And I'm sure they are sick of hearing the sound of my voice now. They're probably going to run away and leave Djuma. Please don't, please stay, because I love you all very much. Now we've got to try and get out of here, which is always fun. I don't want to make too much noise. Not that they really mind. They're not really too responsive when it comes to bundu bashing and driving over twigs. They just sort of look at you, sort of like, you know, do you mind? We're just trying to have a rest here. Bye, guys. That was amazing. Woohoo! Sure, okay, let's go over these logs very slowly. Now, a man who has no name, that's very interesting Twitter handle. I like that. You're wondering when do the male's manes start to develop. We should start seeing it now. We should start seeing like little fluffy streaks, not streaks, but just bits of excess hair on their chest. It always starts to develop there. And then when they get to about 1.5 years, you'll see it a bit more. It'll start growing a little bit further down their chest again. And when they get to about 3.5, you can really see that they are males, but it's quite a pathetic small mane. And again, it also depends on genetics. Some lions have fuller manes than others, so that's got a lot to do with it. I'm sure it's got something to do with testosterone. So we'll just have to wait to see it. But their fathers are most certainly impressive looking lions. When we first started seeing the Birminghams, they weren't impressive at all. They were a bit scraggly, their manes hadn't quite developed quite nicely, but now look at those boys, and they're just going to get even more and more impressive. So I'm sure that the males that are in the Pride will take after their dads. This is quite easy to get out here. Now, Jeff, you're wondering at what... Oh, was it Jeff or Seth? I couldn't hear that one. Pes. Oh, Pef. Oh, Tef. This is my favorite part of the whole safari, is trying to hear the words and the names that come through. So I'm so sorry that I'm butchering everyone's name here. But anyways, the question to that was, when will the males leave the Pride? When they eventually get chased out. So again, it varies from pride to pride as to what happens. But normally it's around 2.5, 3 years old. Maybe even a little bit later if they're lucky enough. Maybe 3.5. I have seen some boys hanging around for too long before the Birminghams will chase them on out, because essentially what happens is that they become a competition for the other lions. There's another vehicle down there. I think let's go this way. So they become competition, and they don't really want to be involved in sort of the other male lions. And there's another car coming here. I'm going to have to tell them, I think they want to come into the sighting. I'm going to have to guide them in very quickly. This will be interesting. Let me just quickly do that. Tell them that it's in there somewhere. Good morning. How are you? Very well, thanks. I know it's not lovely to see you guys again. It's been a while. Are you looking for the lions? So if you go straight in here, you can try and follow my track. Rex and I try to stay on the same track, but you see where that big marula tree is? Yeah, a little bit to the right. Yeah, the one with the leaves on, the big one. So they're just sort of a little bit further to the right of that, and in there's a broken leadwood, and they're lying in a patch between sort of some bush willows, probably about 200 meters from here, maybe 150 meters that way. There we go. Just guiding everybody in to the sighting. Yeah. Cool. We'll see you later. Right, so let's carry on. So I'm not sure what we're going to do now after that very exciting sighting that we had. That was quite great. Really difficult. We will have to see exactly what happens. It could be a whole nother Pride takeover, and then that will change the dynamics completely. But we're going to keep searching for something else that'll be just as exciting as the Nkuhuma attempted hunt that we watched this morning. We're going to go to Kenya now with Brent and have a look at some different birds.
A bit of a quiet morning on our standards, but well done to Taylor for finding the lions first. Now, we've decided to do a bit of birding, and this is definitely a new bird species for everyone out there. So get those pens ready and get ready to make a nice big tick for Jackson's widow bird. Aren't they beautiful? And you can see the males are the big black dark ones. The female, okay, did you see that one that just landed? I wasn't sure what it was.
The brown one.
No, with the red head.
Not this guy, yeah?
No. Go out again. Come out. And, okay, zoom. Zoom. Behind those ones, lift. A little bit there. A little bit to the left.
Oh, damn.
What have we there? That's a funny looking bird. Ah. Isn't that pretty? I'm pretty sure I know what it is, but I'm going to have to double check quickly. But the Jackson's widow birds, and now I think we have a new species for everyone as well. I'm just going to confirm, I'm pretty sure. As I said, my East African birds are a little bit rusty. I haven't birded up here since about 2010, so I think I'm pretty sure what it is. And it is exactly what I thought it was. Now, everyone, that is a red-headed Quelea. That is a very nice bird species. That is not one you see too often. So, they don't occur in as big a flocks as their red-billed cousins, but that is a red-headed Quelea. Mary says, all the birds are so beautiful. Indeed they are, Mary. That's a very cool one. I'm quite excited. That's the first time I've seen this one on this trip. The red-headed Quelea. Okay, so, well, let's get back to the Jackson's widow birds, because Daniel and YouTuber say, aren't their tails amazing? They are. So the males only grow that for the breeding season, and once they've finished impressing the ladies, they lose that tail and their coloration, and they become quite dull and dab brown. So it is fascinating that those tails, because they could make you a little bit easier to catch from a predatory bird point of view, but those tails are there to just impress the girls. Now I'm just having a quick look with my binos up on the hillside, see if I can spot anything. Now I have seen Boha reedbuck in this area before. It doesn't look like anyone's out today. What have we got there? I can hear some other birds. I can hear a pectoral patch testicular, but I can't see them just yet. But you see this is a lovely green area here. That is obviously where the streams come down from the mountain, and it attracts quite a lot of birds. You can see that nice thick rank grass that widow birds like so much, and there we go. You can see that green grass. Okay, well, we're going to keep moving, leave the Jackson's widow birds to keep sunning themselves, and while we do that, Taylor's with a pachyderm.
What another fantastic surprise. You won't believe whose herd we've stumbled across. We've come across Short Trunk and her family. Now that's not Short Trunk over there, that's one of her offspring. Her two offspring are just there, and if I go a little bit further forward, she's just feeding off to the right of me. Hello, big girl. And going straight in the direction of the lions. It's okay, lovely lady. There we go. Luckily, they're very relaxed. They're a lovely herd to sit with. And you can see her just there feeding. Yes, little ones. Look at them all. Big brother, or big sister, should I say. No, big brother. Just ushered the little one on, saying, come on, catch up now. Oh, there's another elephant coming up the rear too. What a great morning. Now, this is not concerning. Concerning is not the correct word that I want to use. However, if these elephants continue feeding in the direction that they're going, they might end up chasing those lions away, which won't be great for us, because it'll probably happen during the middle of the day, and then we won't know where they go. So I hope that the elephants pick up on their scent first and don't stumble upon them and then end up changing their direction rather not feeding around there. Here's a young bull though, just coming here. He's sort of coming in at quite a speed. What are you doing, mister? Don't come here and give my favorite... Hey! No, that's rude. You don't walk up to a person like that, especially if you don't know them. How rude is that? Now, that's unnecessary. Look, now you're upsetting everybody because you're making me shout. Very cheeky young bull that we've got over here. Look at him. He came charging in from the distance, cracking branches. He's a young bull that's obviously been evicted from the herd. And then he came over to me as if to say, I'm going to show you who's boss. I reckon we showed him who's boss. Now, I had to be a little bit loud there with him because what he was going to do is he was going to walk over and come right up to the car, and I don't want to give him the satisfaction to think that he has this kind of control over the vehicles. Otherwise, that's how you start to get problem elephants. So just a little raise of the voice. He stopped responding to my voice, so I tapped the bonnet like that, and you saw straight away he went, okay, fine, you win. Now, don't be ugly. Just be calm and nice, and we can have a nice conversation, and everybody can carry on watching. Just relax. He's settled down now, though. He's now... No, he's not. What are you breaking? He's breaking a branch of some sort over there. He's probably going to try and make a big noise again and get me to startle myself. But you can't... The thing is with these young elephant bulls, you can't back down from them. Oh, Rolf is looking for me. Standing by, Rolf. A little bit more west of that. I think the best bet is if you go into that drainage line. You should see all our tracks on the fire break. If you contact Tom and Patsy, they're in there now. They might be able to guide you in a little bit better. I've left that sighting. I think it was... No, I think it's basically in that same drainage line. Just a little bit west. They're on the western side of the drainage, but that same drainage that runs from Timbwiti Dam. I don't know where Rhino Cutline is. Yeah, A-firm. Yeah, go east. Not go east, sorry, go west. Go towards the Buffelshoek signs. There we go. Sorry about that. Just keep trying to help Rolf in there, but I also for a moment lost my bearings as I was sitting there. So as I was saying, with a young elephant bull like this, it is so important that they learn from the beginning. It's very stressful for them once they get pushed out of a herd, as you can imagine, living with your family your whole life and then being told to sort of move on and go on your own. And he's tailing this herd now. And the first thing they want to do is see if they can dominate the vehicles. And at a young age, you need to let them know that they are not allowed to do something like this because it is not good behavior. And of course, an elephant is much larger than us, and they're the ones that can tip the vehicle over and roll it 100 times without even breaking a sweat. So young age, it's important. Let them know that they can't do that. Now, young elephant bulls, or elephant bulls in general, come up and investigate, and that's fine when they do so in a polite manner. But the fact that he came charging over like that, like he thought he owned the whole of the Sabi Sand and he was the greatest tusker that ever lived in the Greater Kruger National Park, is a little bit unacceptable. So we just had to teach him some manners, and it worked. Look at him now. He's feeding maybe 30 meters away from the car, and now he's not even interested in us because he learned that, oh, I'm not going to win with this crazy blonde girl today. She's going to win. And the whole herd is settled down. Half Trunk and her little ones are feeding right just next to the car, which is nice. I'm sure that they appreciate what I did too, sorting that bull out, because he would have come in there and done the same thing, probably pushed some of the youngsters around, and then Short Trunk would have got upset and she would have had to have reprimanded him. So I think I helped her out today. But very nice. How great is that? A very exciting morning it's been, hey? The last hour and a half of game drive has been spectacular. Now, Suzanne, you're wondering how many centimeters in length would an elephant's track be? Ooh, I don't actually know off of the top of my head. I suppose it depends on the size of an elephant. I'll have to bring a tracking book out. I'll bring my favorite tracking book out for the sunset safari and we'll have a look. But a male elephant's track is massive. It's probably a bit longer than the length of a ruler. Maybe around there, 25 no, actually maybe more. Why am I thinking about 50 centimeters or so in length? But let's double check that. Maybe I'll bring a ruler out or a measuring device of some sort this afternoon and we'll actually find some elephant tracks and we'll try and find one of a average size female elephant. We'll come here because we know where they cross the road, and then we'll try and find a big elephant bull's track too, and we'll have a look that way. It's so difficult to try and remember all of these things that we learn out here in the bush. So it takes a bit of reading, and that's why we have notebooks, so we can quickly scan over things and go, ah, yes, now I remember. Sometimes you go for months without talking about a certain thing and you forget that you even know that. Open your notebook, or you dig into the filing cabinets in your brain and then you start to remember everything else. I'm happy though with this bull. I actually think let's move on before we disturb them too much more. Just this bull because of his behavior in the beginning. I think that we rectified the situation. We showed him who was boss, and now he showed us that he respects us, that he's calm, he's not throwing a tantrum about it, and they also are feeding off down into the drainage line, so it is going to be quite difficult to follow them. And I don't like to off-road. I never off-road for elephants. I always stay on the roads and stay put, but that's just a personal preference. It's just a safety aspect from my side. Right. Boys, well, one big boy, one little boy, thank you for a great day. Now, you behave, mister. You don't give any other cars trouble, otherwise you'll be hearing from Sebastian and I. Let's see if he's going to try and chase us. No, he's being good. Look at him, he's just standing there, not chasing after us. That's fantastic, there we go. Taught an elephant some manners today. You don't get to do that every day. But Tristan is still at Chitwa Dam, and I wonder if there's any hippos bobbing up and down.
Well, we're not at Chitwa Dam because we have no signal at Chitwa Dam, so we've tried to move around there with no luck. So now we're just slowly making our way back home because, unfortunately, the signal just was being full of nonsense this morning. I don't know why. Rusty is normally very good at Chitwa Dam, but for some reason today was just not working in our favor. But we did see some nice things down at Chitwa Dam. There was some mating fish eagles, which was quite interesting. We had them calling and then mounting one another, so that was quite cool to see. And then Vlad was there. No sign of Boris, but Vlad the Impala, which is the crocodile, for those of you who don't know, is a big crocodile at Chitwa Dam, was out sunning itself. And other than that, there was just the general goings on. A few impalas, a few waterbuck, some hippos snorting, Egyptian geese squawking. So it was the normal Chitwa scene, really. It's just unfortunately, for some reason, the gremlins are in full swing today and keeping me from doing really very much at all. So now I'm just trying to stay in areas where at least we get some signal, and hopefully we can find something in those areas. But we're on Chitwa driveway area now, and this always brings back fond memories driving here. This is where I spent 2 years of my life driving up and down, and so always sort of reminisce when I come onto this sort of area and think about all the sightings that I've had over the years on these sort of sections. So it's always nice to drive here again. It's kind of, like I say, it's good for the soul to remember all the good times that you have. Lots of incredible sightings in this area. We saw them at Jingalans here, lots on this driveway, on buffalo kills multiple times, which was very cool. So that was nice, and it was when they first arrived into the Sabi Sands, when they were still young boys. So we used to see them here a lot. Obviously Tundi and her varying cubs that she's had have spent a lot of time in this area. We used to see ostrich koppies female around this area, or Campbell koppies I think was her other name. No, that was Ntima. Ntima had Campbell koppies, but ostrich koppies was around this area, so we used to see them every now and then. Mvula many times here on foot, so it was really quite cool. Are you going to stay there for me? I hope so. Craig, let me go back, because otherwise you're going to struggle. So it's a southern white-crowned shrike. No, really? It seems like it's going to be one of those mornings. Well done, Craig. It's a black speck flying away from us, but it was a southern white-crowned shrike. So let me show you what that looks like quickly, because I don't know if you would have seen it from that movement that it just made. Now, shrikes are towards the back of the book. There we go. Bush shrikes, no. Helmet shrikes, no. Normal shrikes, there we go. Right, so this is the bird that was just sitting above us now, calling. You can see it's got that very sort of white cap with that black line that runs through and then down, and then that very white chest. Now, they are quite common in this area. We do see them fairly regularly, so this is a nice bird to see. But I was hoping that one was going to stay, because it was literally right above us, and it was kind of in the nice sunlight, and it would have been very pretty to look at. Now, on this stage, we do still see the magpie shrike, but unfortunately our red-backed shrikes, which are these ones on the right-hand side here, so these guys, they've now left for their long, arduous journey all the way back into Europe and North Africa and even up into Russia. And then our lesser grey shrikes, unfortunately, have also left, and they've headed up further north as well. So we don't see these guys. Now, in the shrike family, you'll notice that they've all got these kind of curved beaks that are very predatory, which means that they feed a lot of varying sort of animals. Now, this bird on the right-hand side here, called the fiscal shrike, is also known as the butcher bird. And the reason why this is called the butcher bird is because at the end of the day, what happens with this guy is it will catch varying types of food items, and then it will find thorn trees or barbed wire or anything like that, and it will actually go and impale its victims on there and use it as food for later. So it almost stores its food, and you'll find sometimes if they're nesting, the tree that they're nesting at has multiple different victims impaled on the tree, and that's why they're called the butcher bird, because it looks like a whole bunch of carcasses hanging from hooks in a butchery, and that's where it comes from. They're not the only ones that impale their food. So here in the Sabi Sands, sometimes, very uncommon, but it will happen from time to time, these big guys over here are called the grey-headed bush shrikes, which are hugely predatory. These guys will go after many different types of food, particularly snakes, chameleons, and they have quite a sort of nasty reputation, but they will sometimes even impale food. It's not very common for them to do it, but they do it from time to time. And these guys we should see all year round, so we'll hopefully see more of them. They're one of the most beautiful coloured birds, and they've got that eerie call, which has led to their name being the ghost bird in Afrikaans. Right, enough about the shrikes. Onward and forward we go. So, Megs, if you can just repeat the name for me. Sorry, it's just breaking quite badly. So, Mrs. Zero, you say that was number 8 on your bird list. So you must be a new birder to Safari. You'll be able to get lots of birds to your list very, very quickly. We certainly will be doing a lot of birds at times. It's always nice to do birding. Now, at this time of the year, the birds are a little quieter than what we see in the sort of in the summer months when all our migratory birds are back, but certainly we can get your list way above the 8 that you're at now. So we'll definitely try and add lots of birds to it. So you must keep watching and keep adding to it. There's nothing more interesting. Fantastic, and you've got the advantage that you've got not only me driving around, but you with Taylor and with Ellie and with Brent and with Jamie and James and Steph, and so a whole bunch of birds.
Well, we're back with me. Tristan's not having very much luck today with the gremlins. They have decided that he is their target and well, are hunting him down. It's like they're following him actually, but of course we'll get that all sorted. Now, we're on quarantine at the moment, and I'm actually deciding on a perfect spot as to where we're going to have our Bokdrol Spooker competition. I thought I'd very quickly come and just scout an area out before I go back and check the hyena den. I think we should do it around here. What do you think? This is a good spot. We need it on the road because we need to draw a nice line. So I think, Megan, everybody needs to meet on the middle road of quarantine, and there's a big fallen marula tree just over there. If we can come and do it, just to give you an idea as a landmark, we can come and do it here on this middle road. So it's sort of closer to where the Bushbraai site is, around there, around here. This is a nice spot, and I'm sure we'll find lots of impala dung that we can shoot out of our mouths There we go. Let's go check the hyena den. Let's go see if there's anything happening there now that the day has warmed up quite nicely. I know Tristan went there earlier and didn't have any luck, but perhaps our luck will be a bit luckier. We're on a roll today. It's really nice, especially after yesterday's quiet drive. Whee! Let's go. No, not too far. We're going to go through Philemon's Dip now, and then it's only a couple more minutes after that. Lots of lion tracks going up and down this way from the Birmingham boys. They're moving all over here. Let's go and see. Whoop. Over these little bumps. But what a beautiful day. Winter is definitely here. There's not a cloud in the sky. I'm happy because I know you had that miserable sort of cold front that moved through a few days ago. We also got that in Palabora, northern Limpopo area too. It wasn't nice. It was very windy, very cold and miserable. What's wrong? What's wrong? What have you got? What have you got? What have you got? Ah, it's a little, what have we got on the tree? Is it a little goshawk or is it a lizard buzzard? Let's see. Let's see, maybe a gabar goshawk that's in there? Well spotted. Who have you got? Face yourself. Now this one is not particularly large. It's much smaller. Is it a little, what have we got here? Who have we got? I'm going to have to get out my bird app here because for some bizarre reason I can't identify birds anymore. I've forgotten. Maybe it's a little gabar goshawk. It's not big enough to be a dark chanting. It's actually quite small. Maybe it is a dark chanting. Maybe it's just the angle at which we're looking. Right. Let me get my bird app out. I need a little bit of help this morning. But perhaps some of you have spotted this already. Hashtag Safari Live if you know which goshawk this is. Definitely is a little goshawk. No, I don't know who you are. Who are you? It's not big. It's quite small. It's bigger than a lizard buzzard. It's something in between. Let me check gabar. Sort of around that size. Gabar. Yes, I think that's what. Where are we though? The legs are a little bit orange, aren't they? But it's the right size. It is most certainly the right size. It's sort of something in between a lizard buzzard and also a dark chanting goshawk. I think that's going to be my answer. I'm going to go with gabar. What is it? Is everyone agreeing with me, Megan? Or am I completely wrong? Hello? I don't know. And there it goes. But definitely had the bar. What does Ellie think it is? A lizard buzzard? It was so small. Ellie thinks it's a lizard buzzard. Maybe. Let's check here. Let me have a look. Let's go. It was too big for me to be a lizard buzzard. Let me just check. I want to see if we've got pictures of it flying. Yeah, it was about probably about this size, so not quite the size of a, I'd say probably a dark chanting goshawk must be about that tall. A lizard buzzard is quite small. They're very dainty little things. This was something in between. Let me just very quickly, I just want to see who's got the white rump on its, the white little patch. Let's see here. Gabar goshawk. I don't know. It looked around that size. It looked like something more that size than. And you see it had a very white rump. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? Or was it it's a bit difficult.
There we go.
There we go. But there's quite a white patch over there, and I definitely saw that as it flew away. I'm going to go with gabar goshawk. That's going to be my guess, just because of the sun. And this is, I'm going to look at the throat. I didn't see the front of the bird or very well. Maybe you got some. Let's go. Oh, what about a shikra? No, it wasn't a shikra. Let's go, lizard buzzard. I didn't. Did you see the little stripe? I didn't see the black throat stripe on that bird at all. Did you see it? Maybe it was a lizard buzzard. I don't know. It was a bit difficult to tell, but it just looked a little bit too. I'm scrolling here, as you can see. Probably all getting a bit dizzy. Let's see the size difference. I don't know. I don't know what it was. Maybe a lizard buzzard. Ellie's probably right. I've been out of the bush for too long. I've forgotten what these raptors look like. We used to have lizard buzzards living outside the Shivambalana Earth Lodge accommodation. And don't see them all the time, but other than that, I haven't really seen too many raptors. There's that dark chanting goshawk that lives down at Cheetah Plains that we see every now and then. But other than that, I feel as though my raptor identification can be improved significantly. So we'll go with Ellie, and Ellie's probably correct. Let's go with the lizard buzzard. I can't remember, I didn't see that stripe under its throat, but if you did see the stripe and you managed to take a picture, you can hashtag Safari Live, let us know, and we play this game together. It just looks biggish, a little bit large, I don't know. So hard to tell when the bird is up in the tree. It'd be easier if it was sitting right down close to me so I could get a nice look of how big it is. Do you know, so Megan, I love, you've said that we don't have any takers for the Bokdrol Spook competition. I can't remember it ever being a choice, eh, Sebastian? I thought it was a compulsory event, wasn't it? Didn't Tristan, who's the authority, he said that everybody has to participate at dinner? I thought that's it. I'm going to have to radio Tristan and ask him about this and what he thinks, and that the ladies in Final Control think that they have a choice in this matter. You guys can't just say, you got to come and partake. Let's get hold of Tristan. Let's see what he thinks. Tristan. I don't know how I'm going to say this on the Game Drive radio though. Let's quickly just have a look at the side to see if there's anything. We're just coming into that. Okay, I'm going to have a chat to the guys on the radio about the lions. I don't think that they're able to relocate them again, but unfortunately there's not much here at the hyena den. It is not active this morning. Okay, let me tell Ralph, can you stand by? I'm just live at the moment. I'll have a chat to you in about 5 minutes. There we go, we'll get back to Rolf in a moment. Hopefully they'll be able to relocate those lions. Let's see what else we've got here. So there are hyena tracks coming in and out of the den, but perhaps we've just missed them when we were sitting with the lions with all the action. They probably would have come out in that first warm bit of sun and suckled the little ones, and now they've all gone back to sleep again. But we'll get them eventually. It'll be nice to see some hyenas again. I do enjoy hyenas. I didn't even hear one coming through camp last night, which is unusual. What is the time? Oh my goodness, we've got to go. At this rate, it's just going to be Sebastian and I playing Bokdrol Spook, because no one wants to play our game with us, but it's fine. It'll be interesting when we have our next finds meeting. Hey Sebastian, to all those that didn't want to partake. Yeah, who's going to film it? Well, if it's just you and I, we won't be able to play. But hopefully Tristan is on his way here, and then we can just play. Yes, Ellie is coming, so that's good. And well, the rest of you in Final Control, I'm just so disappointed. You all can just have salty cracks and Marmite for the next week as punishment. No more of Amanda's delicious food. I'm going to tell Amanda too that she's got to sabotage all your food because you didn't want to come and play our game. What's going to happen when we have the next Bush Olympics and then you don't have a choice and you have to play that game? Right, so it seems as though Tristan has managed to fight off the gremlins for now. He's on his way towards quarantine. Let's go see how far he is.
We are slowly on our way back. We seem to have gotten rid of some of the gremlins. We'll see how it lasts though, as we are heading towards more gremlin hollows as we get slowly closer to home. So we'll just have to see how it goes. But we're back at Twin Dams, just trying to check around and see what there is. There is a Waterbuck there. Hello Waterbuck. And an Impala. There we go. Now our hippo should still be here. He's just probably hiding from us at the moment. But there's our Impala and Waterbuck. So you can see both of them are males, and they won't be too worried about each other's company. At the end of the day, it's more eyes and ears to spot predators, and so you'll find that they'll sit between an Impala and Waterbuck, wondering the difference between the two. And there we go. There was quite that young bull Waterbuck. He's very, very young still. He's going to get still bigger and bulkier than what he is now. You can see the horns are still quite short, so I would put some on that area. Right, now apparently the gremlins are once again attacking us on Rusty, so while we Brent all the way in the Mara with some elephants.
Well, it's time for our daily dose of cuteness. Look at this little chap! Oh, sweetness! Now, the whole herd is on their way down to the swamp at the moment, but this little guy is just too much. He's just looks like he's in the best mood this morning. Oh, big bump to negotiate next. Off, let's go. Engage the low range. 4-wheel drive. Oh, up and away he goes. Oh, sweet. Isn't that wonderful? Now, I think they're all heading down towards the Samaki swamp, which is in the distance here. And you can see there's already some elephants that have got down to it. And it's lovely and green and lush, and it's going to be a hot day today. And a lot of the elephants will do that. They'll spend their evenings in the forests on the edge of the Lolo escarpment. And then as the day warms up, they move further to the east down towards the river, and in particular towards that big swamp area. They'll feed while they're going, and of course when the wildebeest arrive they tend to spend a lot more time in the forests and around the escarpment to avoid those noisy gnu's. Oh, look at him. Now there are a lot of elephants in this part of Africa, so we're quite lucky. And they are quite easy to spot, aren't you? Nice open grasslands. You can see the Ellies from quite a distance away. You can hear them breathing, grabbing grass. Dave would like to know, is there a difference in size between the elephants at Djuma and the elephants in the Mara? Probably not a marked difference, but I would say on average they're a little bit smaller. And why, I'm not 100% sure, because they've got better food. But the Kruger or Greater Kruger Ellies are some of the biggest elephants in Africa in terms of body size and height. But I wouldn't say there's too much of a difference. Probably on average just slightly smaller. Here we go, lots and lots of nice Thamida grass for you. Miss Zero says the landscape is so different in the Mara. Indeed it is. And it's a very unique landscape that has been formed here. And it's one of the reasons we've got such fantastic wildlife in this area. And this volcanic ash has layered this area, and then the decrease of grass species have colonized it, creating one of the most nutrient-rich ecosystems in Africa in terms of large herbivores. And that's why it's able to sustain the amount of animals it does, as well as one of the greatest migrations in the world. Now, I heard a rumor that some lions had caught buffalo, and unfortunately it's quite far from here. So we will definitely be making our way down there on the sunset safari. But we had a good morning exploring some unknown areas, and it was always great to catch up with a red-headed Quelea. It's not a bird you see every day. I'm still trying to find you guys a pectoral patch cesticula. They are very common, but they're very small and very flighty. I can hear them calling. Tip, 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 tip. Now, we're going to leave you from this really big, wide open space and go across to a space that's not quite as wide. The quarantine clearings with Taylor.
we're still here, and unfortunately we're going to leave quarantine clearing now, as nobody wants to play my Bokdrol game. Tristan is conveniently too far away to get here. But anyways, that's okay. I see that I have no friends in camp. Nobody likes me, actually. Just Sebastian. Hey, Sebastian. Thanks, Sebastian. It's fine. We'll just go out and we'll watch lions attempting to hunt buffalo and see all these amazing things. That's fine. Very sad. But yes, for a change, can you believe it? Quarantine is actually quite quiet. There isn't much going on. My zebra are not here. The wildebeest have moved off. And the Gowrie gang, the baboons, are nowhere to be seen. So I wonder when they're going to make their return. Yes, I've just seen Ellie, but we won't play the Bokdrol game. It's okay. I'll just be the reigning champion then. That basically means everyone forfeited. Hey, does it, Sebastian? So well, Sebastian and I are the reigning champions of Bokdrol, and we didn't even need to play. That's how good we are, because that's what happens. If you don't arrive to a competition, you then forfeit. And then I just win by default. That's fine. I'll take that. I'm going to make myself a badge and a sash and a crown and treat myself to hot chocolate because I won. I practiced all night in my room. I was doing my step, my run-up, and how I was going to do it, trying to get the perfect balance between saliva and Impala dung, you know, just enough weight to have it carry and go over in the distance. But yes, but it's been so much fun this morning. We've seen so many different things. It's been really good. We've even got to see birds. Ah, here's Ellie now. There she is, and there she goes. Just a quick drive-by. All dressed in black this morning. Right, let's do one more loop, because sometimes this corner over here can be quite nice. Every now and then the animals were sort of feeding in front of Ingers and then moving through the thicket between Vuyatela Dam, and then they end up on this corner. Let's see. Now, Rishi, you're wondering if there are any African parrots in the Sabi Sand. Well, we do have brown-headed parrots that fly around here, so yes, we do have some parrots. They're quite shy though. You don't often get to see them, and when you do, it's normally quite a quick sighting unless they're dangling upside down on a bush willow tree. Oh my gosh, look here, the Gowrie gang. Okay, they're inside one of the lodges though. Of course, as you can see, there's a big fence here. So what you can see, of course, that is one of the fences to try and keep the lions and elephants and things out. It is electrified, but that's where the Gowrie gang are sitting. They're sitting in there quite happily just feeding away. So that's so funny. So at least somebody came out to meet me on quarantine this morning. And like the zebra, there's not even any Impala around. Let's see if our crowned lapwings are just over here. Maybe they're just up in front. They like to sit. Yes, I think I can see one. Let's quickly go forward. Was it, or was it a dove? I'm not being able to, of course, spot birds today. Have a look here. No, don't fly! I wanted to show you. Well, those white wings that are disappearing off into the distance, that was one of the crowned lapwings that were left here. They normally move around in this open area. Are there the rest of the family here? No, it's very quiet. Oh no, there's another one. They're still here. That actually looks like a Senegal lapwing. Oh, there. There's our dear friend, a crowned lapwing. Very camouflaged against the ground. Quite exposed now, but it's been incredible. I hope that you've enjoyed a fun-filled morning with all of us here from basically from the entire Safari Live crew, behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, behind the camera, and of course to our #1 stars, all the animals. We hope you had a great time, and please remember to join us this afternoon for the Sunset Safari.